Hi and welcome to Tech Tip Tuesday. I'm Brian with Sleep Tech Learning, and today we are diving into the world of new titration tech, specifically how to install the ResMed AirSense 11 along with the EasyCare Tx software and the TxLink 2 as well. Let's do this. Okay, so to begin, one of the key aspects of this whole setup is knowing where the cables are currently run between the control room and the patient room. We also need to take note of where the DC and auxiliary inputs are from the PSG system, if they're on the patient side or on the control room side. If your DC or auxiliary inputs are on the patient side, you're in luck. This installation will be a lot easier. If they're on the control room side, you may need to run extension cables from the control room to the patient side. First, let's look at the most important connections on the patient room. The PAP device and TxLink share one power supply. Power comes from the power outlet to the bottom power input on the TxLink. There is another cable called the TX2 PAP device cable, which plugs into the power output on the TxLink. That cable is then connected to the AirSense 11. This cable not only supplies power to the AirSense 11, but it also provides a communication link between the PAP and the TxLink. Next, let's talk about the Ethernet cable. We have an Ethernet cable that plugs into the back of the TxLink, and the other end plugs into the Ethernet port on the wall. This will be plugged into the Ethernet to USB adapter on the monitoring computer. Now let's look at the connection between the TxLink and the PSG system. The hope is that the DC or auxiliary inputs of the PSG reside in the patient room. The cables run from the front side of the TxLink to the PSG system. If the DC inputs reside on the control room side, you will need to run cables from the control room to the patient room. Here's what the setup will look like if the DC or auxiliary inputs are on the patient room side. And here's an example with the DC or auxiliary inputs on the control room side. Before you click install, make sure that your PC can actually handle this gear. Here's the specs listed on the screen. Alright, next we're going to install EasyCare Tx software. First up, you need to log into Windows with admin privileges. Close all your apps. No distractions allowed here. Next, you need to download EasyCare Tx from resmed.com/titration. There's also a link in the description below. Once it's downloaded, right-click the EasyCare Tx setup file and extract all, and then extract. A new window will appear with EasyCare Tx. Right-click and select Run as Administrator. Enter your Windows admin password. Read, of course, all of the licensing terms. You don't want to miss that. Choose an install location and then click Install. Wait for it to install, and then once it's complete, hit Finish. Next, you're going to look for the EasyCare Tx icon on your desktop. And boom, you are in. For this section, you'll need the TxLink 2 software box. It says, "Welcome, start here." This package contains 2 boxes. Start with the TxLink 2, box 1. It will contain the following. The TxLink 2, this is the device that controls the PAP and sends live data to the EasyCare software and the PSG system. It also contains the power supply, which plugs into the bottom port of the TxLink 2. Next, we have the TxLink 2 PAP device cable. This connects to the top port of the TxLink 2 and to the PAP itself. This cable is the communication link between the PAP and the TxLink. You'll also find an Ethernet cable which connects the TxLink to the monitoring computer. You'll also find a USB cable. This cable is only used for the initial configuration of the TxLink. Once the configuration is complete, you can remove it. The second box contains the EasyCare Tx software. If you need the software CD instead of downloading it from resmed.com, it will be found in this box. You'll also find the Belkin USB to Ethernet adapter. This allows us to connect the computer to the TxLink itself. You'll also find a variety of PSG cables that connect the TxLink to the auxiliary or DC inputs of the PSG system. These cables are found in the red bags, and the cables you need depend on your PSG system. You'll also have a third box which contains the AirSense 11, humidifier chamber, and the power supply, which you don't need because you'll use the one from the TxLink. Okay, to configure the USB to Ethernet adapter, don't plug it in yet. This is what it looks like on the screen. Once you have the adapter, go to the bottom right-hand corner of your screen and right-click on the internet icon. Select Network and Internet Settings. Here, you'll see a list of all the current Ethernet connections. Plug the USB to Ethernet adapter into your computer. You'll see a new Ethernet connection appear. Click on that new connection and navigate to the IP assignment and select Edit. Under Edit IP Settings, switch from Automatic DHCP to Manual, and then toggle on IPv4. You're going to then enter all IP settings exactly as you see them here. Click Save and Exit. Let's make some connections. Take your power supply and plug into the wall outlet, and then the other end to the TxLink 2. Make sure that you use the bottom port here. You'll then take the PAP device cable and plug the TxLink 2 to the AirSense 11. Let's connect the Ethernet cable to the back of the TxLink. The other end goes to the USB to Ethernet adapter. Finally, connect the USB cable to the back of the TxLink device. Plug the other end of the USB cable into the computer. To rename your TxLink 2 or dim the LEDs, you need to plug it in via USB. Launch EasyCare Tx 2 and sign in with your Windows login. From the administrator panel, click USB, then Settings. You want to update the name to something usable like Room 3 or PAP 1, whatever you want to call it. And then you can adjust the LED brightness on the left-hand side. Click Save. Next, we need to configure the TxLink using a static IP. You do this by navigating to Use the following, then enter the settings below. Make sure they match identically, and then click Save. Make sure you take note or write down the top IP address, as you will need it later to connect the TxLink 2. Next, click Add from the top menu and enter the IP address of the TxLink we just configured. Then click Add. After a moment, you will see the TxLink appear. Select the device. Then select Show in Connection Manager. You will see the device disappear, but do not panic. This is normal. Select Connection Manager from the top menu and click Connect. The EasyCare Tx 2 user interface will appear and you are connected. Toggle therapy on and the PAP device will turn on just to verify the connection. And there you have it. You are ready to titrate like a boss. Whether you're running one of these AirSense 11s or you have a fleet of 6, you know now how to do this. If you want more sleep tech tips like this, please subscribe. And may your nights be artifact free.